Good afternoon. It is Friday, August 19th, 2011. Thank God the end of the week is here. Unfortunately, this end of the week and the weekend will feature thunderstorms once again. Really, the northern Mid-Atlantic has had a ton of rain lately, at least a foot of rain in some locations, and at the very least 1 to 2 inches. And we're quickly catching up from what was our deficit for the year, and many locations are now well above normal to near normal. In fact, portions of the Delaware River Valley and back towards northwestern New Jersey and the Lehigh River Valley, those locations are actually experiencing their wettest August ever in many of these locations. So clearly we're dealing with plenty of rainfall, and we have a strong disturbance that is starting to produce showers and strong to severe thunderstorms throughout much of central New York, back down through northeastern Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, and towards the Ohio River Valley. So what can we expect with these thunderstorms, and what's driving these thunderstorms? Well, the key here is to look at the water vapor satellite picture. And what we have in place here as we move forward is we have a very strong disturbance setting up over portions of western Pennsylvania. You could see exactly where it is. Now, you find a disturbance not just by where there's lifting going on, but also where there's sinking air, because what rises must sink, and the stronger you have in sinking air, the stronger the rising air is going to be as well. So this couplet right here is our strong disturbance, and it's going to plow to the east towards the northern Mid-Atlantic, and that is what's going to ignite our strong to severe thunderstorms. However, there's more than just dynamics as far as the upper level disturbances here to consider. So let's take a look at our surface features, and you can see at the surface map we have our cold front right here. It's a very weak cold front. In fact, let's dive into this even more so if we can. Here we are. Perfect. Okay. But we're really not dealing with a cold front here. We're dealing with a dry front. What I mean by that is that the real difference in these air masses at 850 millibars is the amount of moisture in them. This one has a little bit less moisture than this one. And as you can see when you go outside, it's rather humid throughout the northern Mid-Atlantic. You can pretty much feel that right now. So, when we look at the thermal dynamics here, we see a couple of interesting features. One, we have a very unstable mid-level of the atmosphere, which means any lifting that occurs, these thunderstorms are going to be able to become rather intense and will feature large hail, heavy downpours, and strong wind gusts. Also, much like last night, this type of environment will support frequent lightning. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, this is the downdraft cape right here. What this is basically showing is that when the moist air is lifted and then interacts with the dry air aloft, that dry, cool air rapidly sinks to the ground. It's called a downburst wind gust. And those downburst winds are very dangerous and can produce wind gusts easily over 60 miles per hour. And we're seeing that type of environment setting up over the Delaware River Valley back towards the southern Hudson River Valley. Notice along the coast, though, we see a steep decline, almost like as if there's cooling. Well, there is. There's actually the influence from the Atlantic Ocean. Now again, when we look at the surface here, notice where the winds are coming in. They're coming in off the Atlantic, coming in from the east, the southeast, a little bit from the south. So this is going to stabilize the atmosphere over portions of southern Connecticut, portions of Long Island, especially eastern Long Island, and the immediate New Jersey coast. Now it doesn't mean you won't see severe thunderstorms. It will mean that as the thunderstorms approach, they should start to weaken, and your primary impact will be heavy rain. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. As far as shear, there really isn't much support for shear. It's relatively weak. In fact, when we look at the difference in the winds, you'll see there really isn't much in the way of organization here. You got a weak low-level jet here. You have your 500 millibar jet up here. So really we're not dealing with a shear environment here. We're dealing with a strong disturbance lifting very moist warm air into cold dry air aloft, which is igniting these thunderstorms that will be capable for very heavy downpours, frequent lightning, large hail, wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. And I'll tell you this, because these thunderstorms are moving so slowly, there will be a threat for flash flooding where these thunderstorms develop, and that flash flooding is going to be a major problem when you consider that many portions of the northern Mid-Atlantic are running well above normal for rainfall this month. Kind of zoom out here and look at the water vapor throughout the entire country, and you can see there's just disturbance after disturbance approaching the northern Mid-Atlantic. These disturbances are going to be moving through the region through this weekend, keeping us in the threat for showers and thunderstorms. This cold front right here will move through on Sunday, and this will end the pattern as far as the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms, because behind this cold front is a very nice, dry, cool air mass that will set up for next week. But before we get to that point, we're going to deal with this constant threat of showers and thunderstorms today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. Now, as far as our forecast, you know what I said about the weekend. We're going to deal with showers and thunderstorms. And then we move into the first part of the week, and we're dealing with an environment that is, quiet for the most part. We have high pressure and control, dry air. Not much is really going on. But as we look towards the tropics, we have you can see right here, it's a tropical, possibly tropical storm or a hurricane trying to develop somewhere between the Caribbean and the Bahamas, depending on which model you want to follow. This is the GFS model. Some of the European model guidance was taking this potential storm, towards the Bahamas. We have to keep an eye exactly where this storm develops and where it tracks, because there's a lot of uncertainty. Do not trust the global models as far as the track. Is there a threat? Yes, there's a threat from everywhere from Louisiana up through Maine as far as the potential impacts from this storm. But as you can see, all the models agree, for now, that there is potential, because the atmospheric environment is very favorable, for a very strong hurricane to develop somewhere between portions of the eastern Gulf of Mexico or the Bahamas, depending again on which model. Actually, let me just show you what the old European model guidance was showing as of last night. And here we go. We got, look at this. This caught a lot of people's attention, because at 240 hours, it has our hurricane setting up, moving towards North Carolina, and on a beeline right towards the northern Atlantic, but this trough would likely pick it up and kick it out. The question is how fast. So we're clearly dealing with a very interesting potential for some tropical interaction either along the Gulf Coast or the East Coast. We're going to wait to see how it develops before we start getting overexcited. And no, I wouldn't worry about it just yet, but it's something to keep in the back of your mind for next week. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Thank you for trusting NYNJPA Weather for your severe weather source for the northern Mid-Atlantic. I'll be having live coverage of this severe threat, the severe thunderstorms that is, on Twitter, Facebook, and of course at nynjpaweather.com. Stay safe out there and be careful.